Did you know the Forest Service never existed to protect the forest, the function of an ecosystem, or the land in general? Well, I did it, and I worked for them. So I'm going to tell you their first mission statement, their initial founding mission statement. To provide the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people in the long run. That doesn't say anything about the trees. That doesn't say anything about the function of an ecosystem. It doesn't say anything about the land in general. Well, I was doing a little bit of studying today, and in this book here, A Natural History of Western Trees, it's an older book. It was copyrighted in 1950. The final copyright in this copy is 1953. So this information is well over 70 years old, and nothing's changed. Ground fire is calamitous to young trees and regarded with too much indifference by the population because the flames never break into terrifying crown fires, endangering lives and homes. Well, we know now that the flames do reach the crown and do endanger lives and homes. We also know that there's been historic cultural burning for centuries in these regions. Continuing on here. Worse still is overgrazing. Cattle and sheep raisers were well established in the West before lumbering or forestry became common. They think of their rights as an eminent domain, something wrested by their own efforts from the Indians and practically assured by the Constitution. And the open, usually flat groves of the western yellow pine, with their grass cover but little shrubby undergrowth, seem to the stockman as if made for grazing by a god who loves the cowboy. Scientific studies show, however, that heavy browsing of seedlings by stock is one of the worst, perhaps the most objectable, and deterrents to satisfactory reproduction by this valuable and noble tree. Reduction in the number of cattle per acre, especially on land stocked with seedling yellow pines, is the answer. It will not only aid greatly in the perpetuation of the forest, but will bring about improvement in the stock. Well, I also worked for ranchers in the region, and I'll let you know they do view it as a right, and I have actually had explained to me as if it was a water right kind of situation. And they do predate the Forest Service. You know, the ranching families they were here before the Forest Service, and they see the Forest Service as newcomers to the land, and rightfully so, because they're newcomers to the land themselves. The ranchers haven't been here that long either, and so what are we to do? You know, if the ranchers predate the Forest Service, so they have right to the land. What about the indigenous people? I guess, well, yeah, they predate them, don't they? I would assume by that logic, then, well, I guess you're admitting to being on stolen land. Well, what do we do moving forward? I would say it would be a good idea to talk to those indigenous folks and see what maybe we could do. You know, what has been done, what's successfully been done to bring these ecosystems to today. Maybe it's time that we step back into our lands and our relationship with land and return to some symbiosis. Just a thought.